We're going to look at one last objective for this section, and this is to apply the order of operations. So just to review those real quickly, that was the PEMDAS thing. And the same orders are still going to apply here as they did before. You'll see here when we get to problem 39 that the absolute value symbols are showing up. We consider absolute value there we go, value is a grouping symbol. So it's part of the parentheses, it's part of P. So if there's anything that's inside an absolute value symbol, we're going to do that math first, just like we would if it were in parentheses. Then we're going to find the absolute value of the answer before we go ahead and work with the rest of these steps. So let's try a couple problems. In this first one, I see some subtraction, but it's inside parentheses, some more subtraction inside parentheses, and some addition. So 4 minus 12 gives me a -8, and 5 minus 2 gives me a +3. Then I do the addition. -8 plus 3 leaves me with a -5. Looking at the next problem, I've got addition, but it's inside this absolute value, which remember we're going to call P. I've got some subtraction. There's multiplication snuck in right there, and some more addition inside another set of grouping symbols here. I'm sorry, subtraction inside the grouping. So coming through here, I need to do what's inside the absolute value symbols first. A -11 plus 46 is going to give me a +35. I'm keeping the absolute value symbol here because I have only done the math on the inside. I haven't found the absolute value yet. -2 and 6 take away 9 leaves me with a -3. Now I'm going to find the absolute values of these numbers. Well, 35, the absolute value of 35 is still 35 because 35 is 35 units away from 0. My -2 stays there, and the absolute value of -3 is a +3. Okay. Here's where things get a little tricky though, because 35 minus 2, 3, what does that mean? So when there's multiplication implied, you need to still use some sort of symbol to remind yourself that you've got a multiplication step to do. You can either use a dot, that's one way to show multiplication, or you can use the parentheses. But make sure you put something in there so that you don't lose track of the multiplication. So now reading this from left to right, multiplication does have to happen before I can do this subtraction. So I'm going to get 35 minus 6, which gives me a final answer of 29. And looking at our last problem one more time to practice fractions in section 1.5. Looks like our lowest common denominator, the smallest thing that 12 and 8 and 3 will all fit into, is going to be 24. That means I need a 12 times 2, same on the top and bottom, and 8 times 3 on the top and bottom, and times 8 on the top and bottom there. So my new fractions are a 22 24ths minus 9 24ths, and that looks like that's minus 16 24ths. Common denominators are here now, so I can focus on just following my order of operations. I've got subtraction to do inside the parentheses first. 9 minus 16 is going to give me a -7 24ths. I'll keep the parentheses for one more step here. And now I have 22 24ths minus a -7. So when I change that subtraction to addition, and switch the sign after it, I end up with 22 plus 7 for a final answer of 29/24.